Hi there, I'm here at EICMA 2022 and I'm here at the Voge stand. Now, I know a lot of people see these videos about these Chinese bikes and generally aren't terribly impressed, and lots of comments about quality and the like. I've had a look around at the bikes on here, and at least visually the build quality seems to be pretty good. I think only time will tell how long they last out there in the real world, but I think they have some really interesting bikes that look good enough and seem to be at the right sort of power and weight that I think they'll probably do quite well in Europe. I'll show you around the stand, and there's a few in particular that I think might be particularly interesting to people if you can get one. I know there's one which I wish would come to the UK, but so far no news. Anyway, here we go. So the first bike I'd like to show you is this Valico DS900. It's a 900cc twin, I believe. And yeah, it's got a 21-inch front wheel and 18-inch back wheel. Comes with spotlights and crash bars and everything else that's on it. And just to look at the fit and finish on here, in the past lots of this would have been very hard, cheap plastic, but now everything's kind of the same soft touch materials that you see on a lot of more expensive bikes. I believe that's a quick shifter that's already in there as well. Okay, there's a bit of the yellow frame through in there, the metal boxes, and yeah, everything together. One-piece seat, that high tank, that looks quite appealing. It even has an adjustable windscreen in there. Now, this bike is about 220 kilos. I think it makes about 90 horsepower, 96 horsepower from that 900cc engine. And just to give you a bit of context, I mean, that's not far off what the new 800cc V-Strom is. In fact, I think it's even about 8 kilos lighter. I'm not sure if that's with all the accessories on. It may or it may not be. If it is, then it's certainly very light indeed. That even looks like an auxiliary fuel tank that we have at the back here. I don't know whether that's just to balance up the back end with the exhaust on one side, the compromise of luggage space. So the next bike I want to show you is this Valico 300 Rally. So I think this is probably as close as you can get to the Honda CRF300 Rally. I did talk to Voge at the Motorcycle Live show in the UK last year, and they said there was no market for 300cc bikes, so it wasn't coming. I think that's a real shame, because this bike, if you look at it, I'll just show you the fit and finish on it. It comes with that integral rack. The seat comes off with a key instead of having to remove those bolts. Locking fuel tank. Simple dash, but you know what? Compared to my CRF300, at least visually, I think the quality is pretty good. I quite like this sort of sparkle paint finish, and it comes with USB sockets already in there. So if that is exactly as it comes, already with the crash bars fitted, I think that really is quite interesting. So it makes about 28.6 horsepower according to the spec sheet, so slightly more than the European CRF300, and it weighs 150 kilos, which is I think 10 kilos lighter than the Honda CRF300 Rally. So please Voge, if anyone watches this from Voge UK, I really think if you brought this to the UK it would do really well. I would certainly be interested in trying one, and who knows, maybe it would be in my garage alongside my CRF300 Rally. There's now got a few more sort of other touring bikes. This is the Valico 650 DSX double seat. Again, looking at the fit and finish on there, it's got a bolt-on subframe. Yeah, some of this looks a little bit basic maybe as you compared to some of the more premium offerings in the market, but it's not bad, compared to how some of these bikes looked a few years ago. I think it's a marked improvement. They also have this 500 DSX, which I guess is a competitor for the likes of Honda's CB500X. Looks pretty good. I think it's a 19-inch front wheel, and yeah, again comes fully loaded up with all the luggage. And then the last one I'm going to show you around here is this one, which I think is, it's another DS. I think that might also be, this is the 300. So this is more of an adventure style rather than a trail bike, but we're using that 300cc engine that was in the Rally. So this one's their Trofeo 525 ACX. Again, the fit and finish on the bike looks pretty good. I mean, it's I don't know how exactly these are priced. There's no prices on the bikes here, and I'm sure it varies from market to market. If there's anyone that has a Voge motorcycle who'd like to add a comment, if they've had any experience with reliability and parts and the like, that would be good to know. This is their 350 naked bike. Again, looks pretty simple. If you're just looking for something to maybe for city riding, an occasional outing, that looks good enough. And then on this side I have the 500 version of the same bike. I don't know if you can see up here, they actually have some new bikes they're about to launch on the stage, so if they're still doing that while I'm here, I shall make a point of that. I think one of them is going to be this Valico 525 DSX, which might be interesting if that's a 500cc sort of trail bike, much like the Valico 900 I showed at the front. Just coming down this side again, so another 525X. I think this is the same Trofeo we saw on the other side, 350, and then I think the last one that we have here is a 300, they call it an ACK Scrambler, which I guess is based on that same 300 platform, but in a bit more of a Scrambler style. Now they also have a number of scooters. Now, well, as you probably can tell from the other videos, I don't really know a great deal about scooters. I have tried one a couple of times, always found them to be rather fun, but to be able to compare one with another is probably not something I can do particularly easily. This bike is a little naked Bravido 125R, and yeah, you know what? It's only a 125, I'm sure it's cheap as chips, but that looks reasonably well finished. It's got a belly pan, the styling looks fairly modern. Yeah, it's got a double seat. I'm sure how long you take a pillion for on that, and even when I come up and just give you a look at the dash, it all seems quite modern, and yeah, not a bad looking bike really. So that's it. That's my video from the Voge stand here at EICMA 2022. I think some really interesting models, that new 900 adventure bike and also the 300 Rally behind me. They're both from the Valico range. I think look really, really interesting. Not sure if they've got any plans to bring them to the UK, but I think if they do, I think they do really, really well. So I hope it's been interesting and useful. If it has, please check out my other content from EICMA 2022.